Oh yay, a text commentary. Those are going to be so much fun to read, right? We just all love text commentaries. Also, I just want to point out that this video was not made too long after the whole explosion in Youngblood's comments, so I'm glad that this video is probably going to still show him being very upset. Here, ladies and gentlemen, is the corpus delicti of TehFunnyGuyShow2's hypocrisy. In the comment, he states that he doesn't like the fact that Tuber uses faggot as an insult. Yet from the video, you can clearly see the hypocrisy in action. Oh, but he did this as well multiple times in the comments. The funniest thing is that in the video that the comment section frenzy happened in, I said that people who are as dumb as vicious will contradict themselves in the same note thread or comment thread. So good job, TehFunnyGuyShow. You just made yourself as dumb as vicious. Probably even dumber. I say probably even dumber because note that in the comment he said, and it does prove that I have a bad life. I bet you he's gonna whine about me picking on his grammar, but there's a difference between typos and missing the word not. Also, to respond to point number 1, if you're not gonna quit, then why does your channel say otherwise? As for number 2, that doesn't make him a hypocrite because at no point did he say he wasn't gonna reply anymore. And number 3 is basically a pathetic no you with faggot thrown in there for zest, but it comes off as a rancid aftertaste. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we got a Hodge situation here. Hey, TehFunnyGuyShow, you do know that a comeback is a retort made back against an argument, right? You did make a comeback, albeit childish and something more suitable for the playground. Oh, and at what point did she say making comebacks were bad? Because she didn't. You do not know how to use the word hypocrite correctly. Seriously, the bism is just verbatim here. Homophobic, the adjective form of homophobia, which is the fear or hatred of homosexuals. The term faggot is a pejorative term for homosexuals, and one who would seriously use that as an actual insult is indeed homophobic. The Funny Guy Show accuses me of being a grammar Nazi, yet he's going to be overly pedantic about X arguments. I think with most of our critical thinking skills, we can grasp what she means and not split to finite hairs. And before someone wants to call me out on picking on grammar as splitting hairs, I'm doing it because if he was going to retort in making a video, then his grammar should be spot on. Because this shows that you put little effort in making this, and this is more of just, in a sense, to be one big emotional release similar to that of a common tantrum than an actual developed response. Oh, and so if he is a faggot, then that gives you the right. But it doesn't give tubers the right? Plus, if he really is a faggot, how does that not make you a homophobe again? Don't use a Hitler joke, but calling people a faggot is 100% okay. I guess the funny guy should never realize that in World War II that homosexuals were among those victims and were treated lower than dirt. And apparently someone doesn't get the concept of the fact that Giggs is blatantly joking with you. Oh, and you're. Time to bring back everyone's favorite logical fallacy, ad hominem, but in the most laziest form. Plus with it, his good friend Too Cool Quit, because I don't ever remember the Funny Guy Show being one of the more prominent entertainers in commentaries. Why are you picking on jokes when they had nothing to even do with you? Also, I don't think you realize that Lord Crab86 was joking with you. Revolutionary concept. The definition of irony that she's using is a proscribed usage, you know. It's informal, but it is still used. Oh, believe me, people have told you how dumb your comments are, but you don't listen. But then again, why do they need to tell you? The proof is fairly obvious. Did you not look at the video? Because for 98% of the video, it says dramatic reading in the fucking video. Look at the picture that we used for pretty much the entire video. How did you not see this? It's blatantly obvious. Oh, and we were counting times in the video? I thought we were talking about times overall that I brought him up in videos that weren't about him. Okay, then, miscommunication on my part, but still you claim that's stupid because you want to make some point against me by just saying it's pointless. Oh, and good job with the failures in your response. The fact that he's a recolor is the only difference? So you told me that they have only one difference but lots of similarities? Glad you agree with me. That's why I made the comparison. But them both being a recolor is in fact a similarity, so how did you fuck up on that? Oh, and the Compassian? Good job fucking up the word comparison. So you can nitpick about the fact that dramatic reading isn't in the title, even though it's in the video for pretty much all of it, but we can't critique your grammar. And if you want to talk about pointless, then your video is a prime example of it, because you overall fail in everything you have brought up. And I don't care if you're 13, not an excuse. So when you do it, it's okay, but no one else can. I'm not even going to go in depth on that. I think it speaks for itself. He never said your grammar was bad. He was referring to the dramatic reading. Like I said, this is a tantrum. He is so blinded by being upset that he isn't paying attention to what he's writing down. Oh really? He never did? And of course, let's bring up his favorite word, pointless. He likes throwing that word around a lot. The point of the DR was to catch Vicious in the act of his egotism and his egregiousness that he is aware of. Also, because you want to nitpick, Hobbs, Tubers, and I did more than just read the comments. We also ranted on them. So yes, this was, in part, a rant, along with the dramatic reading. And at 3 minutes and 15 seconds, we're done. And TehFunnyGuyShow2, you need to stop crying and raging. If you want to criticize, then fine. But then be prepared to be criticized back if we find obvious holes in your argument. That's how it works. See, this is what some people who like to whine about the commentary community do. They say we can't accept criticism because we criticize them back because we found obvious gaps of logic in their arguments. If you can't handle the fact that people will argue with you here on YouTube, then by all means, leave. The problem is that you said something, and then we found a lot of problems with your arguments, and then you whined about it. You're the one here who can't take criticism because you have this skewed idea that criticism can't be wrong, or that you can't be wrong. If we can point out that your crappy arguments are lacking logic, then you need to deal. Plus, no one said at all in the comments that you couldn't criticize anyone, so stop making this false accusation that someone told you this. Now, some could say that this kid is a troll, but I don't think so, because isn't the point of being one to make others look like idiots, not yourself? Because at the end of the day, he's the only one here who looks like an idiot. And if you want to say at the end of this, oh, I was trolling, congratulations, you made a complete ass out of yourself and really no one else.
This is a bit of a head-scratcher for me, because as it reads on your channel header, it says that you might quit, implying that something must have happened at some point where you fucked up so bad that you began to question your own validity within this community. Somehow, something caused an eruption of suck somewhere that was so bad that you must have really gotten your ass reamed for it. But unfortunately, I can't account for what happened, nor could I even speak of for all those involved with that incident. Surely you must have done something to piss someone off. Also, I'm loving the fact that all the second point was nothing short of a no-you argument. Clearly, we must be dealing with a master of literary arts, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I'm beginning to notice a bit of a pattern here. I just can't quite put my finger on it. Yet. And this will no doubt bite him in the ass later. I'm dead certain of it. In all actuality, your debating skills were called into question several different times up until the point where your incoherent ramblings proved to be nothing more than what you would have heard from a group of chimpanzees gibbering and howling at each other. I wonder how you even master the complexities of the keyboard anyway. Ah, yes, my lovely little comment that seemed to have whizzed right over that bulbous little head of yours. For those of you who are not 4chan veterans, the use of those symbols before the aforementioned words are a little thing called green texting. In this, the user who made the previous comment had either said something that was so unforgivingly and mind-numbingly stupid that the person who's issuing the reply takes little snippets of what the previous person said and cuts it down to a few key words of what was said previously, then issues a statement of some type or another, usually through an image or in a highly sarcastic manner. Funny guy. Why you no understand sarcasm? Wait a minute. Something didn't exactly add up in that comment. You know, unless a Phoenix Angel gal somehow has a penis, then I think you just completely failed Gender 101, dude. Oh dear. Sounds like we're none too book smart, are we? Remember, you eat pudding with a spoon. Well, since you wanted elaboration like some retarded knobhead would ask for, simply put, your comments on this video were so filled with blind egotism, a severe lack of sentence structure, grammar, and were so absolutely ridden with AIDS and pony-fagism. But then again, this still leads me back to an original point I had made earlier, where I had questioned the legitimacy of your ignoble birth. May I suggest removing yourself from society? Besides, no one is willing to listen to a delusional retard with an ego that's bigger than their hairy nutsack. Oh, by the way, remember when I mentioned offhand earlier that I knew this was forming a pattern and that this was going to bite him square in the ass for it later on? Well, it seems as though that we've finally come to the source of the problem. From what I've gathered based on that generic statement of yours, it seems as though that just because you're 13 seems to tell me that we shouldn't be picking on your grammar, your lack of sentence structure or even tell you flat out that you're a fucking self-appreciative, delusional, knob-headed, fart-knocking, goat-faced, four-eyed retard with the intelligence quotient of a goddamn sponge. But then again, sponges would have more common sense than this idiot, so we're gonna have to use something a bit different. How about you people? Where would you rate this guy in terms of IQ? Post your choices below. Vote now, vote often, and most importantly, vote fairly. I love how he's trying to flip this back on Alejandro or Grotange here. The sad part is, though, the OSC he did got him nowhere still, much like how this video in its entirety is still getting him nowhere. Is that so? I've already inspected your channel, both of them, and it turns out that you did just that. It seems to me that you're pulling a SAS PD-22 out of your ass with the frequency of the videos you pump out and on the subject in question, but once again, I must stress the point to where it'll finally make all the sense in the world. SAS is slightly entertaining, at times. You, however, are on another level of suck that I haven't seen in a long while. Oh dear, it seems as though we not only have a cropping problem, but apparently he's attempting to pull the no you card again here. I think I've said my piece in regards to that, so let's just keep this going. I would like to ask a few questions here. Number one, how do you know this? Are you even subscribed to him at all? Suppose if he was featured in a video that discussed this topic on him, and he added it to a playlist of some sort or another, and you were just too blind to see it. Number two, at what point did any of them repeat the same thing in regards to the person in the video? As far as I know, they were not only discussing the exchange of PMs that Realm Wars II exchanged with him, but they were also pointing out how flawed this guy really is by using some overused sound clips and equally overused special effects, not to mention that this guy has some major league self-esteem issues, i.e. him being all emo-ish and shit, amongst other issues, as well as him being a tremendous double-talking cunt swab of the internet. Actually, hang on a second. Here's a mirror. Take a look into it sometimes, because the same thing applies directly to you. Before you go, however, I would like to answer thusly. Your attempts at putting together a cognitive response here was absolutely shit. It was shittier than shit. It was shit that was puked out of Satan's asshole, which shit out a bigger piece of shit, which sprouted out hundreds of maggot-infested penises pissing out streams of blood. The simple fact that you chose to go out of your way and respond to everyone who took a giant dump on your so-called opinion was outright pathetic. It only made you out to be a bigger pockmarked Pickwickian Attercop Applejohn Twunt nozzle that the likes of us have never seen. Perhaps this should be a sign that you were never really cut out for this sort of thing in the first place. If you decide to issue a video response to this, then go right on ahead. It'll only perpetuate the laughter until everything comes crashing down on your head like a ton of bricks. Enjoy yourself now, funny guy. It's only a matter of time, as they say. Time that you do not have much of left in all actuality. In any case, I'm ending the video here since, well, you've already seen it for yourself. It's puerile at best, terrible at least.